To be back here on a card like this, I know last time you fought in London, it was a pretty sensational performance. So to be back here again, what does that mean to you?
Being back here, and obviously after about a year and 6 months layoff, is dream come true. Honestly, obviously the first fight that I'd done in 2019 in London was electrifying. It was amazing. It was probably the best experience I've ever had in my life. So to have already done that, now coming into this, I know exactly what to expect. I'm buzzing. I live 40 minutes from here, so I've got my home comforts. There couldn't be a better card for me to be on than this one today.
Are you staying here all week, or are you staying at home?
No, I'm staying at home. I'm booked in. I've got a hotel. I've got the hotel room booked in. Sorry, and I will be staying here the weight cut day, the weigh-in day, etc. But at the moment, I'm home. I'm looking after my dog. He's hard work, so I've got to go back, look after him, enjoy my home comforts, and sleep in my own bed. So for me, it's luxury.
So weigh-in day, will you wake up fight day at home?
I'll wake up fight day at home. Yes, which I always prefer. I like to come in. I like to. Sounds a bit cheesy, but give my missus a little kiss, go and prepare for war. So, yeah, that's what works for me.
Does it take a different kind of like mental approach to do that? Because do you look at it like, oh, I'm just going, waking up, doing my routine and going to like a day of training, or do you make it bigger than that in your mind?
Yeah, for me, as I say, in my head, I kind of look at it as I'm going to war. I say goodbye to my missus, my mum, my family. I'm like, right, I'm going to get on the train, I'm going to war, I'll be back after. And I have to kind of get into that mindset. I'm one of these fighters where you'll see Brad Pickett slap me before I go in the cage. I need to be angry and I need to, feel like I'm going into a war or a battle. So that's what I like to do. And being at home, that gives me that little extra encouragement to feel like that.
And for people who aren't aware, why was the layoff so long?
Unfortunately, after my last fight, in the fight, I sustained an injury. It put me out for about 6 months on my right hand. Then I was back in training, had a fight booked up, and a month out, broke another bone in that hand. So it was a completely different injury, but that put me out again for about another 6 months. So yeah, unfortunately, it's been a bit of a long layoff. But we're here now. That's the main thing. The hand's good. I've been flying through training. So, Saturday Ignite, expect fireworks.
Yeah, so to have to deal with something like that, which I'm sure you haven't gone through before, what kind of growth did that allow you, mentally speaking, in terms of, having to overcome that and just deal with the time off?
Having the time off, if anything's made me a better fighter, I feel. One, mentally, it's really made me appreciate just training, having my body working how it should be and having every weapon that I possibly can have in training. It's given me a little bit of an extra boost, let's say, and it's given me time to work areas where I wouldn't normally work. So, the first 6 months I was working elbows every day. Now I feel like my elbows have come up leaps and bounds since my last fight. I feel like my kicks have come on leaps and bounds. I was still able to do cardio, etc. All I couldn't do really was punch with the right hand. So, yeah, and as I say, the power's still there now. So I've got my right hand back, and I've now got a load of new weapons in my arsenal that I didn't have before.
And to start the UFC run, it was such a nice streak, and then the past few, it's been a couple mixed results. Do you feel any particular pressure to, get an emphatic win or just the win here? What does this the significance of this fight mean to you?
Of course, the fight's really important. I've been out for such a long time now, and with my last fight being a loss, however, I don't feel I lost that fight. I believe that I'm 5-1 in the UFC. I'm down as 4-2, but I don't see that last fight. I don't see how I lost that. But don't leave it to the judges. They always say. So yeah, this Saturday I look to finish the fight, finish it early. And yeah, let the UFC know that I'm here to stay, and that, I'm where I belong.
Nathaniel, just at the back here. You spoke about your loss to Casey Kenny. You got a bonus from that fight. How do you assess your performance when you look back at that?
So I'm happy with my performance to an extent. The stats said I landed more shots. In my head I feel I won the fight. I'm a bit annoyed in myself that I didn't finish the fight and I let it go to the judges. In the last round of that fight, if anything, I actually, in my head, was playing it a little bit safe because I thought I won. And, I've learned from that lesson now. You don't leave it to the judges. and that fight I took on 3 weeks' notice. So I was happy with my performance. I was happy that obviously I got the bonus. You know, that always softens the blow a little bit. But, you know, lesson learned. Don't leave it to the judges, and you know, finish the fights.
Yeah, and you've obviously had a change of opponent going into this one, but you know, Vince actually called you out after his last fight. What did you think of that call out when you heard?
I only actually saw it when I got announced that I was fighting Vince 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. Don't know why he wants to fight me. He's lost the fight via leg kicks before, and I think I hold the record for most leg kicks thrown. So, yeah, don't know. Maybe he wants a bit of the fight of the night bonus.
Do you think it's a mistake on his part?
For sure, definitely, and he's taken it on 2-3 weeks' notice. So, if anything, I feel a little bit offended.
Thank you.
Nathaniel, I'm just wondering, you have often been the headline act in London cards for years with Cage Warriors. You were the big ticket seller, lots of people coming out to see you. Are you used to the pressure of competing in front of your hometown crowd, maybe more so than the other UK fighters on this card?
I would say there's a little added pressure for me when I'm fighting in my hometown, but I prefer that. You know, pressure makes diamonds, and I'm one of these fighters where the more pressure I have, the better I perform. You know, and what's going to give you more pressure than fighting in your hometown with the crowd? You know, being the only London fighter on the card in London. Yeah, you know, I'm ready for it, and you know, believe me when I say that, you know, this is going to be the best Nathaniel Wood you've seen on Saturday night.
Tom seems a bit daunted by the whole idea of it. Like, you know, he's saying to us he doesn't know what it's going to be like, which is true. But what advice would you give to Tom, who's headlining this card?
Enjoy it. It's a feeling like no other. So, yes, I guess like queuing up for a roller coaster, you know, there's them nerves and jitters, but mate, it's an amazing feeling, and I don't think I could actually describe it to anyone unless you've done it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, is this the first time that GB top team have had a permanent home while you're fighting in the UFC, and how much of a significant change has that made to your camp?
Yes, it is. It's the first actual camp where I've actually had a hub, let's say. You know, for the whole 12 years of my fighting career, I've never had one home with everything under one roof with all of my coaches there. I had to travel an hour and a half to the gym that I was at previously, an hour and a half back, so 3 hours of my life spent travelling. Now I have a state-of-an-art facility 10 minutes around the corner with all of my coaches there. So that's definitely for me a missing puzzle piece that I feel I needed to take me that next level. And I've got that now. So, you know, it's been, as I say, almost luxury. I kind of feel spoiled now. You know, we've got heating in the gym. Didn't normally have that. Come summer, we got aircon in the gym. So, yeah, you know, GB top team, it's been a blessing.
How difficult is it to find someone to look after your dog when you're going to do these things, because he seems quite a terror?
It's virtually impossible. So yeah, you know, me being at home has helped. My fiance has been at home for the last 2 years working because of COVID, and they put her back in the office 3 weeks ago. So if there was ever a time where I said they could have just waited, they could have waited out a little bit. But he keeps me busy. He keeps my mind off things, and yeah, I love him to bits. So you know, he's a blessing for me.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Nathaniel, down here. Obviously, you've had the long layoff, 18 months. How active are you hoping to be this year?
As active as I can be. You know, touch wood, no injuries. You know, I just want to get as many fights in as I can. Good fights, good wins. You know, I don't want to overdo it to the point where, you know, people are looking at me thinking, you know, you're looking a bit overtrained, mate, or that sort of thing. But, you know, I want to be active. My bank balance wants me to be active as well. So, yeah, you know, after the Saturday night, I'll obviously speak to the UFC, find out when they've next got a card lined up that they want me on, and, you know, try and be in there as much as possible.
And we saw on Instagram the roadmaps that you have all over your body. Talk about the diet to get into that condition, because this is the best condition that we've ever seen you in.
It's tough. It really is. You know, the fight for me, when people say how you feeling for your fight, I don't really feel any nerves until after the weigh-ins, because for me the nerves are always, let's make weight. You know, I've got to diet down for 10 weeks, 8 weeks. You know, then I have to cut weight in the sauna, and you know, I'm in great physical shape. I took that picture or video after a sauna 20 minutes out with good lighting, and all of a sudden everyone thinks that I'm on either steroids or I'm really struggling. You know, it's just good lighting and good genes, guys. So I appreciate that for the guys that think I am taking steroids, but no, I'm just naturally gifted.
And obviously, you had back-to-back injuries to the hands. Psychologically, how's it been like throwing that in camp? And will there be any reservations on fight night? Because I know some fighters do have that after suffering such an injury.
No, so far the hand's been great, and this is, I think, been the first fight where I've had about 14 weeks notice for. So we made sure that, you know, the beginning of camp, etc., we didn't overdo it. We really took our time with getting it back to 100%, and, you know, as I say, it's been 100% since. So fingers crossed it stays up in the fight, and I'm looking to get a knockout with it.
Cheers, mate.
Hey Nathaniel, how are you, bro?
Good, mate. You?
I'm doing good, thanks. So firstly, I just wanted to say, obviously, 2 weeks notice Vince has taken this fight.
Mm-hmm.
Normally when someone pulls out quite late notice, it can be frustrating for someone because they've kind of tailored their game plan for that opponent. But since it's Vince who stepped up, do you think that stylistically, actually, you prefer this, and now you can fight your game and you can put on a better performance in front of those fans?
Yeah, 100%. I think Vince is a better fighter in the sense where he's had 6 UFC fights, 3-3. He's on a 2-win streak. Stylistically, he's better for me. You know, he's more of a striker. He likes to bang. You know, and for me, that's more fun. That's more exciting, and that's more suited to my game plan. You know, Liudvik, as confident as I am in the grappling exchanges, I think it was going to be let's try and defend takedown, and you know. Even though I was fully confident I was going to get the win, I kind of had in my mind, it might not be fight of the night, it might be a little bit boring, whatever. And it's kind of boring training for them sort of style fights, but, you know, Vince comes to bang, so, you know, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be an exciting matchup, and I'm pleased that he's taken it on a couple of weeks' notice.
When I came to see you a few weeks ago, we spoke a little bit about the weight cut and how difficult it can be cutting the calories and stuff. But you did say, like, one of the only things that you can have is chewing gum. So I got you a packet. If you want me to throw it to you,
Appreciate it.
or you
Yeah,
can
send it off here. Send it off here.
Can catch.
Go. Look at those reactions.
Good luck, Nathaniel.
Thank you.
Nathaniel at the back here. When this fight was initially announced, it was actually Ludwig who was in there, and obviously for reasons he can't make it. Did you have an inkling that someone was going to fall out? Did you kind of have that in mind when you were preparing?
So, whenever I fight, I always in the back of my head think, you know, opponents can change at any time. That's why I never really plan my whole camp around one opponent. Obviously, when what's happening now in Ukraine just started to happen, I actually sent Liudvik a message and said, hey, mate, you know, I hope my thoughts and prayers are with you. I hope you're okay, and I hope things, you know, this hopefully won't affect our bout that we've got lined up. He replied with a nice message just saying, thank you, mate, but, you know, at the moment, all I can think about is family, etc. And it was the next day that it really sort of kicked off. So, you know, once that happened, I knew that he was obviously, you know, going to have to pull from the fight where, you know, too right. You know, I've got nothing but thoughts and prayers for the people of Ukraine right now, and Liudvik himself. So, you know, I wish him all the best. And, yeah, I'm just, you know, lucky to still be able to compete on this card. And, you know, thanks to Vince Morales for taking this fight. You know, I know it's not easy taking a fight on short notice, and especially in someone's hometown. So, you know, I'm pleased that he did take the fight.
Thank you.
Nathaniel, you're the only Londoner on this card. Do you think it means a little more to you than the other British fighters? And how do you expect to feel when the announcer says fighting out of London, England, and the crowd goes nuts?
For me, it's a good feeling. I think I might be the only London UFC fighter. So, you know, I feel like that's a little extra motivation to represent. Obviously, my original dream was to become the first UK champ. Bisping obviously stole that from me, but I can still be the first London champ. So that's on the cards. You know, I want to be the first UFC champion to bring a belt back to London.
Brilliant. Thanks, mate.